Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sacred Pearl podcast with myself, Reverend Arlene. So, again, I thought when I first started this podcast, when I think of my original ideas and thoughts, and clearly I am not going that way at all. And things are just popping up when they pop up. So, with today's episode, I kept feeling this need. I don't know, it's just, I'm trying to think of how to describe it, articulate it. I just feel that so many of us are in this, we're easily being distracted, is what I feel is kind of what is presenting itself. Is we are easily being distracted and we are easily um, putting this emphasis or this weight on aspects and things and beliefs and stuff that probably doesn't need that much attention. But what I keep hearing right now from my team is the phrase of it's more important to be right, right? It's like, and that's what I'm focused, that's what the energy that I'm feeling. It's like people are more focused on, well, my agenda or my thought process, what I'm sharing is right, is all truth. And, like, don't question it, don't, just follow me kind of thing, right? And it's just like, no, right? I don't know how else to say it, but that's gonna be a hard pass, thanks. And that's the whole thing. Like even with sharing this podcast, right? Even when I say I'm sharing, the information I'm receiving and my connection with God and stuff like that, it doesn't mean you need to say like, yeah, I'm just sharing my experience, what I've been exposed to, right? And sometimes it's not even so much what I've been exposed to or experienced myself, but it's just the information I receive, right? And again, it is not going to resonate with everyone. And not everyone is going to see it. And that's okay. And I don't need you to agree with me. I'm just sharing. And then if it resonates, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? And again, I'm also aware of the fact that and I've said before, it's we are all here having an individual experience, right? Everybody's having an individual experience. And everybody is going to move through their path at a different rate, I guess, right? So we are all not starting at chapter one at the same time, right? So that's the other thing. And again, it's not like even about like chapter one and chapter 10 or something, because it's never about, one person's up here and the other person's down here. It's just a different experience, right? And it's that whole aspect of, sometimes you listen to something, right? You listen to these, you know, motivational speakers are the right word. I don't know. You just listen to these people like me sharing this information, right? Um, and that's why too, know, I don't really have a label for anything because I'm just me and I just do what I'm guided to do. Is basically the gist of it. Like, I don't know. I don't like putting any labels on it because I feel like it limits what is available, right? It's like when we try to label and define God, right? Like to me, that's just ridiculous because I'm like, how? How can this human, right, with the limited perspective, ability has, how could we ever truly define God? To me, that just doesn't make sense. It's an energy. It's a creator, right? Like I don't know. Like I don't know. So that's how I feel with a lot of all this, right? Like you know, And that's like the difficult part. I don't know if other people who are sort of on this path, on this journey, feel the same way, where, especially when you kind of have a business of service, right? Of service for humanity. And, and it comes to creating your website, right? Like, I don't know. That's kind of like part of where I'm at right now. So I'll share that little part, right? Like of my own experience. So for me right now, it's like I feel like I need to revamp my website or just shut it all down and start from scratch. Like, I don't know. I'm just letting myself be guided to what I need to do. Because as many times as I try to work on my website, it never feels fully accurate. And it feels so limiting. Like, oh my gosh. Because I'm like, how? How do I describe truly any of this? Like, basically, it's like I just want to put, I work for God and I just bring forward, and it's like I work for God. Just I'm one of God's many tools, right? Basically, which we all are. So it's not like I'm special or anything. We are all tools of God, right? Because we've all been created. We're all here. So we're all tools of God. And whatever that tool looks like, whatever, right? It doesn't mean that, like I said, it doesn't make me special in any way, shape, or form. So here, tools of God, holding space, doing my best to live by example, right? But again, I'm a human, so I'm gonna mess up, right? Or not even mess up, like I'm going to not be fully happy with what's been presented, right? Or how I'm presenting things, right? Like I'm gonna still sit there and sadly judge myself, right? Because again, I'm still here on this human journey. There are gonna be times I'm gonna judge myself. And I feel like I do that especially when it comes to being a mom. I feel like I'm constantly judging myself when it comes to being a mom. Am I doing enough? Am I being enough? Am I giving them, helping them navigate this world enough? Do they, like how else can I, show them skills and teach them these tools and skills so that they could be more independent, and there's always that aspect of how much of me is actually, limiting them versus, letting them flourish and grow, right? Like these are all things that are going to go through my head and I'm sure go through your head and other aspects of your life, right? But still, when you're in this work, right, and you've gone through, like, you've experienced a lot of things, so you have a lot of information. So you want to share that information because maybe it could help somebody else. But again, it doesn't mean that I know better, and that doesn't mean that I know what's best for you, right? So even when a client comes to the house to have a session with me or joins a workshop or a class or whatever, again, it is just me sharing information and how it's supported me or how it hasn't supported me or how it's gotten me to, you know, dive deeper in. That's all I'm trying to do, or at least that is my true intention. But I know that sometimes people won't receive it that way. And I understand that, right? Like, you're always going to be the villain in somebody's story. Not everybody is going to agree with the words you're saying. And sometimes too, and I truly believe everything is energy, right? Like Jesus said it best, right? Where not everyone is going to understand and be able to receive the information he shared. And I truly believe that everything is based on frequency, vibration. So with anything, right? You could hear the same thing from one person, from one source for 10, 15 years, and it still never really clicks in, right? There's still some level of miscommunication, right? Some level of understanding. And then all of a sudden you hear somebody else and it just all falls into place. That's just because it's not saying that the other person's information wasn't correct or held meaning. It probably just meant that there came a time where the frequency changed, right? The frequency vibration changed. So it's like you were no longer able to hear their words, right? So you were no longer able to receive their words. And at that point, it would have been more of like, you know what? This source is no longer the source for me, and I need to go somewhere else or go deeper within and figure out me, right? Which is always, I feel, is where we should always start is from within, right? Because it is always about us and everything is a reflection of us in some way, shape, or form and is gravitated to us, whether we're bringing it in to repel it or bringing it in to absorb it, either way. And so with that, then it's, you would find, and then you might hear it from somewhere else and it finally just clicks. But that's because for some reason at that moment, the frequencies were aligned and it could, move together. Like when you see audio recordings, right? And you see it, like all of a sudden it moves, right? Or when you see a DNA sequence and you see how it mixes together and it's like, oh, you're from the same family, right? And boom, the DNA matches. That's the same idea, right? So it's just understanding that, right? It's so important that none of us take things personally because there's no point in taking it personally. It's energy. Everything is energy. And sometimes it's just not going to click anymore. And that's okay. So instead of, like, I understand, yes, there's a level in some aspects, you're going to need to mourn that loss, but also understand, like, the other way I try to often tell people sometimes is think about it. Now that you've realized that is no longer a match for you, right? You stepping away is now giving someone else the opportunity to step in and now receive that information that at that moment their vibes match. And it gives you the opportunity now to explore something different and receive more aligned information for you. So there is no true loss. Actually, like think about how much now you are opening up the opportunity for others and still opening the opportunity for you because now you've made space for that, right? So these are things too where I feel that us as humans, we get so distracted in all these things because we struggle so much to let go. We struggle so much in letting go of that attachment to everything, right? We attach ourselves to everything, really, in many shapes and forms. We attach ourselves to everything. But the biggest thing we attach ourselves to is the comfort in what we know, whether it's positive or negative. We know it. We know what it feels like. And we have that fear, right? It's fear. Fear is all of it. When you're angry, it's fear. When you feel uncomfortable, it's fear. When you're triggered, it's fear, right? Fear is most often the root of all of it. It's a fear of not knowing, a fear of not being loved, a fear of not being worthy, right? A fear of making a mistake. When we don't make mistakes, it's not a mistake, right? It's an opportunity to learn and understand what's meant for us and what's not meant for us, right? So the so-called mistake is because we didn't listen to our higher selves, right? We listened to our ego instead because we got focused on what would people say. We got focused on how would it look. We got focused on I need, to be better than the Joneses, right? Like it's about comparison and all that mumbo jumbo ego stuff, right? So this is where I feel us as humans through this journey right now. As you know, again, I'm not huge on astrology and stuff like that, but I have people in my world that are, and I've been having opportunities to listen to different places and, different sources of astrology and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat where it's like I pick up on energy, right? And I receive my information. And then what's cool is I share it with somebody and then they tell me, oh, that makes sense because this planet is doing this right now. This is happening right now. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I have no idea because I don't follow astrology, but very cool because I heard this month and I heard this is happening and this is what I received, right? And it's just kind of cool, right? Like I just love how it all kind of syncs together, right? But again, it's not that I need the validation, but it's still kind of cool. Like that stuff still always, like even when I give so-called predictions, I don't want to give predictions. I don't like the word predictions, but when people ask me for information and then I share something and I'm like, oh, this is what I'm receiving. And then it's accurate, right? Or it comes to be, and then just like, that's so cool, right? Like it's always gonna floor me. Like even when I do energy work and stuff comes up and things happen and the people are on the table and all these things, and I'm just like still, like just the awe, like the awe of God's love is just it fills me. Like it does. Like it just, oh, any sense of hunger or thirst I felt is just gone because I'm just like, you're just so filled with that Holy Spirit of like, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. Like, oh, it's just beautiful, right? And it just again confirms that love and connection I feel to God. And it's just like, wow. I'm like, thank you for letting me be one of your tools. Like what an honor, what a gift to me, to them, like it's just so cool, right? Like, and it's just like, thanks for allowing me to do this. And please always keep me humble to know that, and it's like I always say to people too, I'm like, it's not really me. I'm like, it's all God. I just do what I'm told and follow. It's almost like follow the yellow brick road, right? Like I follow the breadcrumbs. That's kind of what it is. So, um, back to what I was saying too. So I feel that, we get distracted by things. So it's like, or we put so much emphasis, and it's like really in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of energy, and what is you know, truly not even manifesting, but let's say growing, right? I guess in a way, it's like all that stuff is just really it's just bullshit. It's like it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Like I was having a conversation with a friend about, how, people message about, message her too about flat earth versus round earth, right? And I'm like, okay, right? But in my mind, right, and from the information I've received, it doesn't matter. Like, what a waste of mental thought and energy. Who cares? This is all an illusion, anyways. It's not real. We are just energy beings who, for some reason, there's this projector that comes, right? So it's like when you think of movie theaters and they used to use projectors, right? And so you think of the projector is what we're seeing right now. This is just the projection of whatever it is, right? But really doesn't matter. Really, sometimes I think, sometimes the visual I get, it's like, when you think of, like this brain or something, or this ball of consciousness that just kind of sits there and it's hooked up to this machine so that the consciousness can share its information, or like so that it actually has like a computer generated voice so that it can share what is being said. That's kind of what this all is, right? So, an understanding that being attached doesn't matter because that's just hurting you by being so attached to the labels and what you have and what you look like and your version of what success is and what true happiness feels like, which is peace and being comfortable with being nobody, right? Like that's the best feeling in the world is being nothing, is being nobody, right? It is. Like when I get little glimpses and little moments of feeling that, the freedom, the peace that I feel is intoxicating, really, at times, right? It's like, yeah, sometimes it almost feels like it's like a high, and you just want to keep catching that high, right? Like it's just weird sometimes, but that's just what it feels like to me. I felt like I needed to come on and just do this short little podcast episode because I'm getting together with a friend of mine. We're trying to organize something where she will be a guest on the podcast, and we might do like a little mini series on healing and just energy healing and stuff like that. So I don't know, we're working it out. So hopefully the next video I post will be with my friend, and we will just go with what happens and let God speak between the two of us and share the information. But back to sort of what I was going to say. So again, it is about understanding where you're letting yourself be distracted. Why are you holding so tightly to certain beliefs, to certain ideals, right? Like why is it so important to hold on to those things, right? And how is it serving you to hold on to it, right? So for even like for those who like to hold, for those who say they want to work through their healing and they want to get better, but yet they continue to live under victim mentality. So why is it so important for you to hold on to the victimhood? Why is it so important for you to always look like the person who's been hard done by? What are you getting out of it? Right? So again, this is not supposed to be judgment or criticism. This is to help you truly expand and break through the matrix you've created for yourself, right? So it's breaking the false matrix so that you can enter your true matrix, which is your motherboard within you, right? Your true source. So, and connecting to your true quantum field and all that stuff. So it's like, and I've said in so many videos and other posts about things right now with this energy from now till probably 2027, right? Because it's going to move into 2026 still and just keep intensifying and trying to anchor in the true paradigm energy. This energy is not forgiving. It is making you have to face it. It's like, boom, clue by four. Like it is smashing you in the face. Like you can't deny it now. Like the energy that it brings up through your body, what it does to your body, you can't ignore it anymore. It's like if it's like I love it. Like my cousin says, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no, right? And if like if that's what helps you to kind of understand it, you know, uh, and I don't know, it's like, are you gonna wait until you deny it so badly that basic one, you're gonna die, right? You just die because you can't live in this paradigm because you've refused to be honest with yourself. And again, I'm not saying this to be cruel or rude or in any way. This is just what I've been seeing, being shown. And we're going to keep seeing this. People are going to start dying because they just can't move past it and their contract is just done. Two, fall into disease, real bad health issues, ailments. I keep hearing coma too, that, right? These are the things we're going to keep seeing, right? And, and for other things too, like simple things of not following your true path, not following your true career. You keep saying, I hate my job, I hate my job, I hate my job. Well, guess what's going to happen? Because you're not taking the steps to focus on the career you want or where you want to go, what is in true alignment with you. Next thing you know, boom, you lose your job and now you're left in panic mode. Do you really want that? Do you really want to wait for the tower to collapse, for the foundation to collapse, for everything to be pulled from under you, and then you're left in panic mode? Like, no. This is why, and I feel like that's where this is going for so many of us from now till 2027, right? In 2026 is going to be like the meat and potatoes of it all. of really getting it to work. And then as we move into 2027, it's something different. But from right now to late 2026, get your shit together. Stop lying to yourself. Be completely honest, vulnerable with yourself without judgment, without criticism. Okay? Like, I don't know how else to say this. And again, this isn't me. I'm feeling the energy flow through me to have to share this. Like, it's crazy. Like, I haven't had this reaction in a long time. If we don't do this, if we keep lying to ourselves, that's it. There is no light at the end of our tunnel for us. It is just complete misery, right? And it's just complete, constantly being sick, being treated horribly, because again, we allow people to treat us the way they do, right? So it is so important. Please just sit there and have an honest conversation with yourself. Really expose the truth to yourself. Like, I've had to do too, where I've had to realize, like, guess what? Like, wow, I was being a manipulator. I was being a martyr to people and not realizing it. Because here I thought I was doing it from a good place, where no, there was lots of manipulation. There was stuff I wanted back. There's things I expected, and that was a difficult one to realize, right? And the wounded healer of like, oh, I was using these people to make me feel better, to make me feel validated. Whoa. Like, realize when you have to have those conversations with yourself. It's not pretty, but it is necessary. How else are you going to break it all down? How else are you going to let it all collapse? And it's not to rebuild from the collapsed stone. It's and start new. It really is. Because if there is any aspects from those old stones that are meant to show there, they will, that are the ones that actually support you. But everything else, you can't go and try to fix it from the old dust. It's just not going to work. I'm going to leave this here just because the energy is getting to be a little too much and I'm getting super hot now. I need to stop. Surrounding you all in love. Remember, you are loved, you are seen, you're safe, and you are whole. Until next time, thank you for being here.